Are we okay? We're going to fucking... We've got to do the fucking shit that we need for fucking drug abuse. No! No! Are you listening? Oh, you're gonna like this. You're really gonna fucking like this.
Sean here. That kid you see there in the photo, go ahead and flame away in the comments if you want. That's me. I had just turned 16, and I was modeling. Lots of girlfriends. I hadn't really done a lot sexually. I started working, and this 27-year-old fitness model, smoking hot, half Latina, half white, invites me out after work. We went back to her place. Now remember, I had just turned 16. We went back to her place. A couple hours of fun later, I'm dropped off near my house. And as a young boy, losing your virginity to someone that looked like that was a dream. But I only knew her first name. I had only worked with her one night. I didn't even go back to that job. I couldn't. It was really weird. So much fun was had. I had barely done anything sexual really before that. And now all of a sudden I'm doing everything. And I wonder, the next day, that initial shock and awe had worn off. I was wondering, will I ever see her again? I never learned her last name. I never saw her again. Now, looking back now, I understand what happened. And I think the point I'm trying to make is that with boys who are usually doing the driving, for some reason, in society, it's like South Park said, nice. It's almost like a high five. Way to go, dude. But it's a crime. Back then, it was the fulfillment of a fantasy for me. But looking back now, I had no business being in that situation. It should have been with someone my age, fumbling around aimlessly, trying to figure out what to do, and working it out together. But it wasn't. And I'm not playing the victim here. I'm sharing with you a true story. One that now that, like I said, I go back and look and I realize, man, she was a predator. But I thought it was okay. And I kind of just blocked it out. So when I was talking about it, it really hit me hard earlier tonight. So that is my story I figured I would share. Didn't ever realize I was a victim. I didn't feel like a victim. And it's because I had just conveniently forgotten it, I think. Someone close to me, very close to me, was a victim. And so was her friend. And it took everything in my power not to drive up there with my friends Mark and Aaron, with the baseball bats that were in the car, beat the door down, and pummel this guy within an inch of his life. It doesn't just affect the victim. Now, in my case, no one ever knew. I don't even know if I told my friends, and that's something you would usually brag about. But it affects the entire family. Everyone feels it, and you can see the difference in the victim. You can see their reluctance to get out, maybe their overcompensation. They're too happy, but deep inside, there's something missing. If you've ever been around a victim or you know a victim, you know how hard it is for them. In the TCAP community, there are real victims. They've said so in the chat. Now, I have no reason to doubt anybody, and I do know there are people out there who just want attention, but this is not something you throw out there to get attention. It's embarrassing. You feel shame. And these people that victimized you, they just go their own way. They just leave. They don't think about the impact they had. What if Lorne really had been with Kayla? After the 3 seconds it would have taken him to finish, "Okay, baby, I'm ready to." All right, good night, sweetheart. I think Lorne, he would have done. Well, he was getting ready to kidnap her and traffic her over state lines, so I mean, he was an extreme case. Let's actually talk about Ernest Timmons, the sweaty predator, the one where Chris goes, "Well, you're about to be on one." And he gets that dumbfounded look on his face, and there's sweat just coming down. It's like Chris is like stepping in it, trying to move out of the way. There are sharks swimming around in it. But Ernest came there. He wanted to take this young girl upstairs and start taking naked pictures of her. And then he would have left. And that young girl would have been asking herself what I did. What just happened? Now, let's say she wanted to do this. Let's say this is something that really interested her. This made her excited to have photos taken in her bra and panties. I'm just saying. Even if that was the case, after it was over, confusion, sadness, shame, anxiety. Will I ever see that person again? Will anybody ever find out? Worrying about whether or not her parents would find out. And then when it occurs to her, as she gets older, that this grown man she didn't even really know came over and took a bunch of nude photos of her. Of course, creeping into her head is, I wonder if they're being passed around with all these, pedos out there, like Donald Morrison and Dustin McFetridge. And I mean, think about that. Think of what that would do to that little girl. Think about what a guy like Victor Wells, or better yet, Jerry Griffith, brought his apple pie over. They had some pie. Jerry Smooth talked his way upstairs. They were going to get busy. He hits it. I know that's a dirty way to say it, but I can't get into it right now. They get busy, and he leaves. And the only thing left is that empty container that the apple pie was in, half empty bottle of whipped cream, and she's upstairs having just gone through what had to have been a traumatic experience. I have a feeling that a lot of these victims, even if they wanted to do something in the chat, when it came down to it, they have second thoughts. Do I really want to go through with this? How do I say no to this gigantic adult person, this scary person? How do I tell them no? It's kind of hard, and some of these men, no is not going to be an acceptable answer. I mean, Hamburger, thank God he couldn't perform, because from what we understand, he's a monster. I know several victims, and I've counseled one of them as a friend, not in any official capacity. People call me, I listen, I give my advice, and that's it. I just wanted to say that what they went through, what they have gone through, what they're still going through today, these guys don't know. All they're thinking about is the initial act. They're thinking about the satisfaction they'll get. They're not thinking about the lead up. They were thinking about getting caught, but they're not really worried about getting caught, because the idea of what they want to do is so strong. They're willing to risk it. And as a matter of fact, for some of them, it's probably a turn on that they could get caught. Lorne, he was so bizarre. He enjoyed the whole, let me run to go to the bathroom and run back so I don't miss a second of our chat. I love you, Kayla. His is a childish, as Chris would say, a childish predator, an immature predator. But Lorne, extremely dangerous. And I'll tell you why. And this is why he is really scary. Most of these guys, there's no emotional attachment. They just want the physical aspect, and they want to get out. Leave before anyone can catch them. Leave no trace. Lauren caught feelings for the decoy, at least in his head. He became possessive, controlling, emotionally attached, as I said. To him, because he's a virgin, sex would be as much as with her. She would be his first, he would be her first, which, as we know, is why he sought her out. It would be very difficult for Lorne not to proclaim his love and want to run away and not run away with this girl. I think he would want to run away with her. I've said that before because he's emotionally attached. If it was just sex, and who knows, maybe it would have been. But I think Lorne really thought they had some kind of cosmic connection and they were destined to be together. And for some reason, if she had gone down there and tried to weasel her way out, it wasn't going to happen. The door would be blocked. Lorne would make sure he was in between her and the door. He would start trying to talk her into it. He would start trying to sweet talk her. And if that didn't work, he would threaten her. He would yell and scream and then say, "Look what you made me do." But Lorne was emotionally attached, which makes the abuse even scarier. When someone knows the victim and that victim is already, their defenses are already down, it's easier for them to get through. And I will say this, for the people who have admitted they're victims, you have my respect. Because in this society, a victim, admitting they are a victim, makes them a potential victim of other predators who see that as a sign of weakness. And they will try to use that to manipulate you. That is how messed up this world is. I don't know much about, I'm not gay or anything. I don't know much about what it would be like for a young boy to have an older man come over and take advantage of him in some disgusting ways and then leave. I would imagine the same violation, the same shame, the same confusion, embarrassment. Think of, it's kind of a double-edged sword, especially if the parents don't know. Because at that age, probably those parents don't know that their 13-year-old son has gay feelings. And he can only express them online to some creep. Like the guy who brought his kid, Clifford, I don't even know his name. I just know he's a complete douchebag. But imagine you're that child. Not only do you have to tell your parents that you were a victim, but you now have to come out as gay. And in a strange twist of fate, Anthony Palumbo got busted as a child predator and got outed as gay on TV, on national TV. Karma is a bitch, Anthony. And as funny as you were there to chill out, see what happens. And you're not much of a TV person. I bet you are now. I bet when you saw that story, you were like, oh, God. I'm adopted. I'm from a Sicilian Italian family. My uncle was Jack Dempsey, the boxer, and that was on my mother's side. My Italian side, I can assure you that they don't use the word gay, and Family Guy was right. You know, he's a backwards mechanic, huh? In traditional Italian families, that's not acceptable, especially ones that have strong roots. And that's all I'm going to say. But I would imagine it is extremely difficult for younger kids who are gay and whose parents may not even know it. Imagine if they weren't accepting. Holy crap. That would be a triple whammy right there. I don't know what it would be like for a lesbian. I mean, I don't know. It's so weird. This society sees penetration as like a huge key factor in like how serious things are. I don't know if there was no penetration and it was just other stuff. I mean, hell, two women, the judge might be like, oh, that's hot. I mean, that's how messed up our society is. Like I said, when I was younger, high five, kid, way to go. She's a fitness model, she's smoking hot, good job. But reverse those roles. Smoking hot guy, fitness model, and a younger girl, That dude's going away forever. I think the laws have evened out now, but the point I'm trying to make is, look at all the complications that come from their stupid ass decisions, their selfish wants and their selfish needs. I've seen what happens to victims. I've seen them become victims again. My advice to anyone who's gone through this is to talk to somebody about it. Professionally, that's my opinion, because talking to your friends, sometimes they're only going to listen and go, yeah, that sucks. Oh man, wow, I can't believe that happened to you. And you're going to feel even worse. You're going to feel hollow, because nothing came out of that conversation except for you admitting something to someone that's very private to you, something you may feel ashamed about, embarrassed. I would suggest talking to somebody professionally. And if you're up for it, maybe it's time to make them pay. I couldn't find the woman I was telling you about, even if I wanted to. I don't even know her last name. I knew where she lived, but it was an apartment, like townhomes, like a complex. That's about all I know. That's it. And the point I'm making is that would be what it's like for a lot of these kids. All of a sudden, the accounts are deleted. They have no way of getting in touch with them. No, they are completely cut off. Getting blocked by somebody on the phone or on Facebook or social media is bad enough. But you just got violated by someone you thought cared about you, and now they've cut off all communication, and you have no way of getting back to them. And for the rest of your life, you will have those abandonment issues. And it's something that these guys, they don't even think about. Or girls, or women, you know what I mean. They damage lives forever. But I just wanted to have a discussion while I could get it out without breaking down, because I'm telling you, just talking about it earlier, it really set in what happened back then. And it bothers me. I'm trying to lighten the mood there. But I love you guys. Please like, subscribe, and share. I will talk to you in the next one.